headset off before. What do you mean? Because I hope we're live. Before I get into it, let's go on to cam. Sorry, I'm quite sweaty. Actually, I can't do this with the heads on. Okay, switch over to chat headset. Oakley dokley. Going live. Why is live chat not available? Is it working? But why is no audio coming through? No audio is coming through for some reason. That's weird. No audio is coming through for some reason. That's weird. No, it's not. It's just I've not got my headset turned on. No, it's not. It's just I've not got my headset turned on. Great. Working. Okay. That seems to be working. Great. Let's jump into it then. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Go to this. So what I'm thinking is I want to try and revert back to a click to move system, because I think, you know, with a lot of it being UI based, you're gonna be clicking things a lot. I think I'd rather you just were always using your right hand. Your left hand didn't have to move around like this. I don't think that this is as fun as clicking. And I'm really 50-50 on that decision, so I'm torn. So I'm going to leave the functionality for click. Move that into. Oh, yeah, I can't click it. We'll move this into our user input. Move here. IA set destination. So IA move, IA click, or IA nav move. Now, and then we'll duplicate this. I want to name it IA nav move interact. The left click will just take you to a place and not try and interact. Nav move interact will try and interact at the end of that movement. So it's like two slightly different things. Okay, so in our IMC default, we need to add some mappings. We add a IA nav move, and this is going to have a we've got a record button now. That's useful. The triggers released, I guess. Save, and let's just do this one for the moment. So we can close the interactive object. Generic functions close down, and then we'll open up our player character. No, player controller is what's controlling the movement. So interact is still doing this stuff. This we moved onto a right click eventually. I think I like the whole just click to do everything rather than forcing players to use multiple buttons. So this will unhook for the moment. So now if we play, I can't move, I can't do anything. That's great. So if we now do enhanced input, let's do IA nav move, triggered, get our player character, and do a move to or get move to location actor. Let's just try this for the moment. Controller self, goal location. So we also need to get the place clicked somehow. Get cursor locate get. Let's just check it up on Google quick. 35 simple click to move to location. So maybe we need pull off the hit imp action. Hit. No. Drag off the press pin. How does this work with enhanced input lever? Get hit result under cursor by channel. Channel visibility. We'll split this, get the location. Just see what happens. This is not working. Error. Controller must have a. Let's just get a reference to self then. I mean, we are an object AI controller. Get controller maybe. Is that gonna work? Roof itself is not an AI controller, therefore I don't want a player character. Move to location. Requires a what I should have done originally. Simple move to location. Controller self. Gonna work. Save. Let's see if this works. Why do we decelerate so much though? Okay, well, we're gonna need some thoughts because as soon as I click on something that isn't movable too, that should not. So if we delete all this, simple moves actor. Let's do base channel. Location. Let's do a draw sphere, debug sphere. Or debug sphere. There we go. Let's do the center here. Radius 50. Duration 1 second. Thickness 10. 5. Okay. Nice. So that's not hitting a nav thing. So we probably want to have a custom channel for because like, let's say for example we have what is this cube? Let's say we have this cube and this is like a wall that blocks you. If you click here, you can't get there. So if we say, how do we like check if it's a valid goal? Project point to navigation. Project point to nav. If we do project point to navigation, navigation data object. Get navigation data. Filter classes. Huh. Let's do point is this and let's just see what happens here. It's just drawing that debug. So if it fails, it's giving me back world origin. Right? Yeah, it's giving me back world origin if it fails. So that's quite useful. So here we can just say branch only try and do this if this is not equal to 0, 0, 0, exactly. So now when we have things that don't work, so if I click like here, I'd quite like it to be able to move behind there. Because the moment, if I like click over here, or like down here, you can see it moves like this, like that. We also probably should take off collision on that camera. So if we get our that character, the spring arm, do collision test, no. It should just be fixed up high in the air. If I try and like get behind this thing, so here my character hides behind there. That's not, I don't know if that's a good thing. If I've got like a building, what would I want the behavior to be for that? Because that could get to a situation where like the guard chases you behind the building and then gets you locked. But for the moment, I think we just ignore that. Let's also, if this fails, so let's do some things. So if this fails, get hit result actor, get world, get actor location, and then let's false And project point to navigation not equal 0, 0, 0. True. Again, do this. Use this as the goal. And let's just make a new sphere with the center. And let's make this center red. We can tell the difference between the two of them. So now, it always takes you to here, no matter where you click on it. Similarly with this one. So this one is getting a null point, because if I press this, yeah, that point is out the center of this. Maybe do like a move to. Is there editor? Simple move. Let's try a true self goal. Let's see if this works. No. So what we need to do is, the problem is simple move to and move this is not working when it's getting this. There needs to be like a path finding for like getting as close as possible to it, because we want to be able to click on objects in the world and interact with them and just walk straight to them. I don't want to have to walk near something then press E again. That's just fucking annoying, you know? So so firstly, let's also check the actor implement interface interact API interact and maybe let's ignore this projected location for the moment. Let's just go straight to simple move to, or just check this. Yeah, that could be the problem. That could be the problem. So now, no. Let's get all this shit out of the way. Don't need any of this. Draw debug sphere at get world get actor location. So it is reading it as a BPI interactable, but it's not reading it as a place I can walk to. So what we're gonna have to figure out is like a okay. So let's get this again. Project point. I'll move this out of the way for the moment. I don't think I want any of this. Also, oh, it has a return value. can just use that rather than 0, 0, 0, which is way cleaner. Lovely jubbly. And the goal should also be this, the projected location. And query extent 0, 0, 0. Maybe just add some query extent. Like 100, 100, 100. Does this now just work? Yeah. Okay, beautiful. On finish. Is that like a way to see like, oh, it's finished its movement? Because what I want to be able to do, well, we'll figure that out later. So at the moment, this is actually working pretty well. So all this is doing is moving us about in a very simple manner, but already this is kind of what I wanted. Now what we need to do is add a right click for interact and also move to interact. So this would probably be best to be a function, but for the moment let's leave it as that. So on IMC default, IA interact, we'll leave that in for the moment because that's part of our other system. So nav move interact is going to be right mouse button. Save that. Nav move interact on triggered. I think we'll just do an interact radius now. So we'll get our player character and so first thing we'll do is get hit under cursor by channel. Hit result actor does implement interface of DPI interact. Sphere sphere cast, or what's it called? Sphere trace by channel. So start and end will both be there. Radius, let's say 50, and we'll do a duration and so if you click and that happens, we should probably only do this if you don't click it directly, just for performance reasons. False. This is probably not the right way to do it because we probably need to check on tick whether we are highlighting things or not. But for the moment, let's do it this way. So let's just make it pixel perfect at the moment. What's probably easy actually is rather than doing like sphere checks on the mouse, is just having a on all the interactables having like a bigger box that's just a overlap for visibility or something. I probably need to create a custom trace channel for interaction, or like click block. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. Maybe I should do that now. So get hit result by channel. Get the player character. Maybe I should just always do maybe just collapse the function, and this is going to be called move to simple. And so here, if the actor does do interact or doesn't do interact, hit result location, and then we'll do a here print string try interact. Right now this is just here, so right mouse button should only be on released. So now I think we need to make, I think there's some things we can do to the system to make it feel way better, but for the moment let's do like this. So try interaction only happen once you reach it. So let's get the player character and set a variable on there that will be try interact and actor to interact. So here we'll get the hit actor and we will set actor to interact, and we'll set it to there's actor to interact on both. Okay, let's delete this then. Yeah. Set actor to interact. No, because we've doing the interaction isn't on the player. So what we should actually do is set actor to interact. On the player character, or should this all be controlled by the controller? Maybe it should all be on the controller. So if we just go to event graph and do event tick, and on the event tick, what we need to do is check the radius around the character and being like, am I in radius to interact? So here we'll just do a new little function, which is check interact radius. So we'll get our player character and get actor location and do a sphere trace by channel, sphere trace for objects. No. Sphere trace by channel. Start, end. Trace by channel. Visibility, radius 200, draw type for 1 frame, out hit, split struck pin. Firstly, then we'll do a branch for promote to variable, should check trying to interact is true, and if the out hit actor or like I want to like get overlapping actors. Out hit actor equals actor to interact. Actor to interact. Branch. True. Print string found actor, and then we will set trying to interact to false and call some event, and then we'll put this on our event tick, check interact radius, and on our movement act interact, set that, and set try interact, set trying to interact to true. So now if we right click, why is that already drawing the trace? Because it's defaulted to true. That shouldn't be the case. So now there's no sphere trace. If we left click this, it just moves over. Right click. Like that. There's no way for it to tell that I've stopped moving. I guess we shouldn't allow people to move with right click unless the actor is interactable. So you can't right click anywhere, you can left click to move. Only when it's a interaction can you right click. But here, we're not ever reaching the actor. See? So what we probably actually need is on our top-down character, viewport, interaction. Let's rename this to E_interact box, and then on our caps component, add a collision sphere, and name this interact radius, and make this like 70 or 100. 100 for the moment. So anything that's inside this radius is interactable. I think I actually would rather if it was a box. So let's add collision box. We'll name this interact radius, and we'll change it to 100, 100, 100. So now anything inside that radius will be interactable. Might make things be interactable through walls. So let's actually make it like 60 by 60. Yeah, that's better. So now we get our character. Put that character, act interact delete, file save. We don't need that anymore. Try interact, we don't need that either on our .NET character. Top-down controller, the player character, what we need to do is get interact radius. And we will take this and say get overlapping actors contains item this. So if the actor you click contains that branch, true. Set this actor to interact, trying to interact. False. Set this, trying to interact. And then let's also do like a no, we'll not do that for the moment. So now, if we go to top down level, nothing happens. Yeah, because of course that's not working because we haven't actually updated this fucking functionality. In our just main graph, event graph, interactions, check interact radius. So this now, try interact true. It shouldn't do a sphere chase. It should do this same check. Interactions. No, movement. Get overlapping actors contains. We'll see. So if get overlapping contains actor to interact. Branch true. Then do this thing. Do your thing. Do we ever print that string? Found actor. Pass filter. None. Interact radius contains actor interact. Print string. Let's do a little print string here, which is first trying to find actor. File save. Trying to find actor is true. Found actor. Trying to find actor is just stuck on now. Is it because it's not getting anything? Are we setting actor to interact false anywhere? Find references by class member. Movement. Set it to this. Ah! Duh. That's why it's not working. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. So now, when we have found... Okay. Cool. So we've done our things. This is feeling very messy, but let's figure that out later. Messy and working is better than not working. So now on our interactions, we'll comment this as WASD interact, and in our movement we'll comment this as WASD movement. think I prefer the idea of clicking to move. It's going to probably make me have a headache later on in life, but then I would probably need a function which is interact. Or should we just make it yeah, let's just make it. I don't think it needs to be a function. Let's just make it a fucking event. Custom event interact with object. So let's take our actor to interact and say, is it valid? If it's valid, try to pick an interaction, I guess. At the moment, that's all we need to do. We probably also want to do things like plus function begin interaction. Player. Let's do it on character actually. Function, which is set in interaction. So here on our interactions, we'll get our character and say set in interaction. And so this function is going to do the rotation. So rotate or set world rotation, set actor rotation, new rotation, get look at target actor is an actor reference. Get actor location. Get actor. Let's just do this. And then between these two, we'll find the look at. So we want to look at find look at rotation, start, target, return, done. File save. So now when we get to a thing, we're not actually, of course, interact with objects is never actually called. So interact with object. Right now I can still move and stuff. My look at rotation is very much not working. And sometimes it never reaches its destination. What's happening there? That's why that's not working, because this one, I didn't pass through the active interact. So let's see if when it does work, it works. Technically it did. Why is that not working? I do pause, F8, and this. Is it just not close enough? Is the object just not? So if we do show collision, yeah, the objects just aren't close enough to each other. So firstly, our navigation should probably be more precise, and secondly, we should probably have a additional thing on interactables. So if we go to object interactable, on default seam root, let's add a interact collision. Or what should this be? Should this be a static mesh? Yeah, static mesh sphere. And we'll name this interact overlap. And we'll make it overlap all. The moment, yeah. And we will say it's a sphere, and we'll say it's let's make a new material as well. Blueprints, interaction, new folder, materials. We'll make a new material which is going to be m underscore editor overlap. So this is going to be an unlit, translucent surface, opaque, masked, translucent. So it's going to have a which is opacity. Change this to like 0.15, and then we'll make it like 0.25, and make its emissive color blue. Okay, and then we'll get a texture sample. We'll just find like a noise. I'm sure there is a noise in here somewhere. Low res blurred noise, and we'll use this as a blurb between 0 and 1. Maybe like -1. 1 minus. No, subtract 0, subtract this, put this in. There we go. So this is just going to be a material I use to show overlaps in the editor. So overlap editor, and we will say it is hidden in game. Is that in like rendering? Our shadow. Nope. Hidden in game true. File save. So then this one, this BP interactable as a cube, which is interact, and this one, which is like its overlap. So now if the player overlaps with this object, it can be interacted with. That's the idea of that one. Should it improve the game feel? Beautiful. So now we need to say if we're in a menu, you can't click. Clicking shouldn't do shit, other than clicking on menus. So is there a enter menu thing? Find references by class member, get. So let's make a function which is an update menu state. So inputs parameter in menu question mark. So the first thing we'll do is set in menu, and then set input mode UI only. Branch in menu true, UI only, get player controller, mouse do not lock, flash input, set input game and UI, and then controller, know which to focus, sure, and then we'll go this. still move around. This object. So now we need to actually on the thing. Wait, set game in. Oh, because this hasn't been called yet. I'm so fucking stupido. Interactable object. Doesn't need this anymore. Open interaction now shouldn't just say it should update menu state to in menu true. And in this widget blueprint interaction, there should be an end interaction that's update menu state to false. And that should tidy all those things up. Let's go interact with this thing. The rotation didn't work, but I can't click anywhere. So, what's going wrong with the rotation? Interactive object, top-down character, set. Let's put a print string, which is rotate character. Let's just see where this happens at the moment. So rotate character is happening last. So if we just maybe we got an issue with like up down. So if we just say unhook this and do a split and just do this. That gonna work now? Close. Rotate character is happening when there's still a lot more movement to do. So maybe there needs to be on interaction started, we need to actually cancel movement first. Firstly, why are we decelerating so much? So if we go that character movement and we say character mode walking, character movement networking, patient settings. Fix path braking distance 1. Let's see if that improves things. Yeah, that makes it way snappier. Let's up it a little bit because it's a little bit too snappy. Mm-hmm. 50. So here, if we're close enough to it and we right click, the rotation works. But if we have to move to it, the rotation doesn't work because it's still doing stuff. So on our controller, when we, not this point, when we reach check interact radius, interact with object, this should also stop movement. Let's try this. Stop movement. It kind of works. Okay, yeah, this is working. Let's try and do a... I don't like the fact that you can't right-click on other things. I think you should be able to. I don't think it should try and interact unless the thing you've hovered over is interactable. I think that the right click should just do a normal movement if not. So let's just set that up for the moment. So in movement, if the object you clicked isn't movable, then just do a normal move to a point and don't try and interact. It's actually probably cleaner if we do it like this. Click this. We only have one simple move to being called. That basically, like, if you're in radius with a thing, if it's inside the radius, interact with it. If you're not inside the radius, then move towards where you clicked. But if the thing that you clicked on is not interactable, don't try and interact with anything along the way. Let's try and clean this all up. So this one can go straight like this. Test object. This one is a branch. Let's try and be tidy as we go. All of this. Move down to give space for this. The first thing you should do is the overlapping thing working? If it is instantly interactable, then just interact with it. We'll do it like this. We'll make this also neater. Less things crossing over. Cool. That all checks out with me. So you can now move around. You can right click, move around. If I like right click past an object that's interactable, nothing happens. If I right click on the object, get our interaction. Cancel interaction, we can move around again. Basically, doing the left click, right click thing just means that if you really don't want to interact with something, but you want to move like near it or something for some reason, you can have that control to you. I think I like that it's all right hand now, not left hand, right hand. It's supposed to be a pretty simple cerebral game, but I think it'd be more chill if someone could play it by just using their, getting chillax in their chair, get the mouse out, and do it all that way. Okay, so we've updated that system entirely with the mouse. That's really great. It also means that we're going to be more specific with our navigation building, because the characters are going to be navigatable, or the NPCs will be using navigation. So if everyone's using it, it means that probably at least then, if both the characters and the player are using it, I have to spend more time making it good, which is good in my opinion. Let's turn off collision visibility. So what's the next thing we need to do? Next thing we need to do is we also need to figure out that. I don't know what the best solution for that is. So for example, if there's this wall here, what needs to happen is that it needs to go, okay, what's the closest point to this wall that I can navigate? So when I click here, I want it to put a sphere here, so it tries to get as close as possible. Is there a function for that? If we get our player back up and our move to simple, at the moment this just goes, is the point navigatable? If it's not, can we find like project find closest point on oriented box? Project for navigation. So we've got simple move to project point, get path cost, get path length. Get random reachable point in radius. I don't really want random. I want what I kind of need to have is like the concept of this object is the floor. So I click, it casts down to the floor and it says find the nearest point to this. So if we think about this in a real world example, let's say we have, it's not perfect, one on one. And then we'll turn our snapping for this back on. So if we, let's say we got a wall like this, and we got some trees, let's say. I can't make this. Let's say we got some trees like this. Trees. Make our trees really fucking tall. Just for the purposes of this demonstration. Because right now if I click here, it doesn't move. But what I want it to do is actually cast through this and click down on the floor. So there's probably point one, which is like, should something block a click? So we're putting a new visibility channel called click, and then a visibility channel called like interact. But let's say we've got walls to a building. This building, the walls and ceiling are not navigatable, but should block clicks. Do you know what I mean? That's why we've got an interesting situation here, in my opinion. As interesting as you can. If we just reduce this back to 111, put it here, and make this do 7, 7, and then 9. So we've got this house here that will have navigation inside the house that I want to be able to move on. But I don't want these. I want these to block clicking, but I want you to be able to. Maybe it's fine for the moment. Maybe we just leave it like this for the moment. the moment, we'll ignore that as a concept. So let's save everything. So what we need to do is edit project settings, collision, default cyclic channel visibility. Let's ask the internet how to add a custom collision visibility collision channel EV5. Project settings, edit project settings. That was the right place. In here there should be collision. I thought that's where I was. Trace channel. New trace channel, which is going to be click, not click, not clock, click. Default response, block, accept. And then on specific objects like these trees, we go to their physics, collision, custom, click, ignore, and then on our top-down controller, if we do our visibility channel click for movement interact, and this one visibility channel click, now hopefully we can move behind these objects very happily. But now the right clicking on objects is not working. Is that because this interact object, its interact overlap, is not blocking? It's blocking click. The top-down controller, let's do a print string here of hit actor first, and we'll do a debug sphere. Sphere of duration 1 second, thickness 5, hit location, bam. Let's see what happens when we right click here. That works. Right click here. That's no longer finding a navigatable path. Why was that working a second ago? Is it because... No. Huh. Why was this working a second? Before I refactored this code, it was working. Hit result location. Let's just do a get actor location. Nope, not Get actor local bounds. Get actor location. Was I doing this before? On that one? In which case we would need... Oh yeah. Okay, that's what needs to happen. So firstly I need to do this. And this does need to check if I hit an actor. Maybe it doesn't need to check if I hit an actor. Okay. I think that the old system was just better than, I guess. When I tried to refactor it to be neater, it just doesn't work now. So if it's not an actor with that, if it is an actor, do this and this. We'll do it like this, maybe. This can move across. This actually want to do first. I don't like doing that second. So this comes in here and does that. If the actor you hit does implement that interface, and do the move. Do the move. If it doesn't, move to the hit point. Okay. That's starting to look semi-legible in terms of blueprints. Now if we just pull all this back, we can probably go this, delete this in here. So do that instead. This will move along. That's like that, that's like that. We'll delete all our print strings because it should be working now. That's a very bold statement. We can still move behind the trees. If we try and move inside the tree, we can still then move over to the actor. Cool. I can't move away anymore. Close. Close. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, save everything. I think that's probably a good place to end it. I know that today I said I was going to work on the dice system, but I ended up having a bunch of life chores to deal with today. So I didn't get to work until quite late. So maybe I'll be on later, maybe not. But at the very least, I've updated the system to click to move, which is what I was thinking about in bed last night. I'm happy with that. And I'll start on the dice system next time I get to work. It's a very short stream today, just an hour. But thanks for watching if you're here, and I will chat to you all later.